Have you ever noticed how the person who hosts the stage instantly becomes a leader that everyone wants to pay attention to? That's the power of hosting your own events, hosting your own summits. You go from participant to authority overnight. You are listening to Amplify Your Success Podcast, episode 456. And today I want to paint a picture for you of why hosting your own summit is a smart, bold move for you this year. You ready for this? Let's get started. Show intro. Hey there, expert entrepreneurs and business leaders. It's your host, Melanie Benson, Authority Amplifier. And today we are diving into the sixth and final episode in my Authority Shortcut mini-series. And today I want to talk about hosting a summit. Now, if you're in my email community, you know I recently opened up a program on this. And I want to explain why I added this into my offering suite. And it actually came at the requests from many clients who kept coming to me saying, can you help me figure out how to build out my own summit? When I coach people in Authority Accelerator and when people attend my biannual event, Visibility Velocity, one of the things we do is we look at what's the sales trigger? What are you going to do when all of these amazing people that meet you out there in the podcast world or speaking at events or through all your lead generation, what are you going to do with them? And hosting your own summit is it's like the integration of three really amazing things. One, it's what you can do with people when they are in your community, but they're not taking action. It kind of gives them an opportunity to get to know why you. It elevates your authority. It puts you in a leadership position. But more than that, it gives people an experience of you that's very easy to start to get to know, am I going to hire this person? And it puts in the moment an invitation that they can say yes to or no to. So I call them sales trigger events. I think the second thing that happens is, and this ties very much into my pillar of collaboration, and that is when you're collaborating at the scale, you're also really building influence. You're building authority on a whole nother level. And, that is very valuable in the world of like a asset being collaboration, an asset being like, how do you co-create a new email list, a valuable educational opportunity? And in the process, if you do a good job in that collaboration and you're inviting the right people to speak at your event, you're also building a valuable list. You're adding new people into your community. Now, one of the key reasons a lot of people look at hosting their own events and their own summits is because it's basically a subscriber injection process. But I see it as so much more than that. So many opportunities here to move energy on a much bigger level, to really command the conversation and to take the lead in creating visibility and opportunities where you're the one that's dictating what gets to happen. So you're the one that builds the list. You're the one that's attracting the clients. You're the one that gets to pick who speaks. It's a very, very powerful opportunity for you. Now, I started hosting summits probably late 2000s, 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. And I saw it as a great opportunity to co-create what it's like to do an in-person event, but at a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the risk, but it still has a lot of the same elements of helping you compound your authority and create something valuable for attendees. And we all know live events, even though, we don't have as many of them, it is how people fill their programs. And this is a really great reason to host a summit. But we don't want to just do it for the outcome of I'm doing this for me. We need to create an epic experience that builds buzz and momentum. When you build that kind of summit, the people that you're attracting into your list stay. And I think this is a big opportunity here, is thinking about how do I create the experience that's just the tip of the iceberg and it makes people want more. So I have an interesting experience with my email community. If you're in my email community, you probably know I've talked about this there. And that is my email community constantly is requiring maintenance. So maintenance means we're pruning it, we're eliminating people that aren't engaging. I know, I'm sorry if you've been eliminated. It's not because I want to, it's because the mechanics of email marketing, all of the technology, it requires us to remove people that don't open emails if we want to have a healthy list. And in that process, that means I actually have to grow it. Okay, so we nurture it. We send at least one email a week, but often 2 to 3 emails a week, all the time, to nurture and continue to build relationship and add value into the community. But you also have to grow it. So if you're pruning it and you're doing that to keep your email list healthy, you have to add more people in. Not to mention, I have people that have been on my list for 15 years or more. I mean, that's you, thank you. I value that you're still here. And it blows my mind sometimes when I hear how long somebody's been kind of sticking around and reading, but they haven't done anything. And so that means that they're just kind of sideline interested, or it's not been the right time, or maybe they're just not a buyer, which is all fine. But that means you need to add new people in. And this is one of the key reasons why I think the timing to have a summit is key, is if your email list is constantly fatigued. Fatigued means it's like you've put the same offer in front of your list multiple times and it's not gaining new traction. So it's not the timing, it's just that's not what they're interested in. Or you have a list of people that aren't buyers, or you have a list of people that were interested in something, but not what you're doing right now, right? All of this is what we call list fatigue. And this is one of the key reasons why you might want to consider hosting a summit this year. So the picture I've painted already, if one of those things hasn't sparked your desire yet, being the influencer, being the person who is building the list, being the person who basically is kind of calling the shots and taking ownership of the conversation that they want to have, and they're the organizer, and that means they're getting the perks. Again, this is a huge opportunity, because if you're a guest on someone else's stage or someone else's podcast, they're getting all the leads. You just get the few that really resonate with what you do. Still valuable, but not as valuable as when you're the host. But ultimately, you also have to think about, how do I create an audience for my new offer? And this is a really great reason to host a summit. You are building up some momentum to fill your event, to fill a live event, to fill a program that you're offering, to invite people into a membership, whatever it is that's your next step. What are you gathering the audience in and want to invite them to? So how do you know it's time, right? So your email list needs a growth surge. You have the program you want to fill, as I was just mentioning. But here's the one that it always is the one that has sparked me. And that is, you don't want to be waiting for other people to invite you to the platform. You're going to create your own platform, and you want to have the pull, if you will. You want to have the kudos. You want to have the benefits, the list that's being built, but you also want to be the one that's leading the conversation. That to me is the ultimate reason. You are done waiting. You're done feeling invisible. You're done feeling like you're not ever getting invited to the party. You're going to create the party and kickstart all of the good stuff that comes with it. Now, I know if you're thinking about this as you're listening in and you're thinking, Melanie, yes, I've thought about this, but I've seen other people do it. I keep thinking I should do this, but I don't. And what goes through my mind is, Melanie, this feels like it's going to be a lot of work. Let me just say it is. But we're in an age where I think the fantasy, the mythology of, hey, you can create a business that runs itself, or you can have passive revenue from your business. You can work 4 hours a week and have a 6-figure plus business. You know what? That's marketing. And I'm sorry to tell you, and I'm sorry for ever contributing to that conversation. And I think at one time maybe it was more true that there was those types of opportunities. But right now, you ask anybody who's really doing, big things in their business, and they'll tell you, yeah, I'm putting in the effort. I'm putting in the work. It's just where we are in the trajectory of this industry. But you have to ask yourself this one key question. What work do I want to do? Do I want somebody else to pay me to work? That's an employee. Or do I want to be the one who's putting in work to build something meaningful and valuable? That's what this is. Put in the effort, put in the work to build something meaningful and valuable that produces sales, produces clients for months and years, and produces revenue and positions you as a leader. So if you're going to put work into something, because you are going to put work into something, put work into something that pays off exponentially. Two, I hear this a lot, and this is partially why people come to me and say, Melanie, can you help me kind of figure out what to do? Is like, okay, I know I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. There's a lot of stuff going on. It feels kind of overwhelming. It feels like there's lots of moving parts. I don't want to have to figure it out on the fly. Smart move. So what are you going to do? You're going to get support. This is, again, like I mentioned earlier, I created the Fast Track Summit system because I kept having clients saying, Melanie, can you help me map this out? And I'm like, well, I have all the systems from the gazillion summits I've hosted. Why don't I just put that into a kit? Why don't I create all the strategy so people that don't want to invest the, $5,000 to $15,000 to coach with me, they can go and get a on-demand training that walks them through everything. And my clients have just eaten it up, and the other people that jumped into the first round of offering it. So yes, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of decisions to make. There's a lot of moving parts. There's different phases. There's a lot of things to figure out. So yeah, don't try to figure it out by yourself. If you don't want my toolkit, hire somebody. Hire me as your coach. I'll help you co-create it, or hire a summit person, an event manager, whatever works for you. There's a lot of people that specialize in this. The investment for that is usually going to start around $5,000, but it's worth it if you don't have the team and you don't have the bandwidth to figure it out. So yes, there's a lot to figure out, but there's ways to get it solved. Don't let that be the barrier that keeps you from the good stuff that's going to happen. Third, what if I do all this and I don't get any results? I don't get the sales. I don't get the clients. Well, that is a very valuable pause moment. And I'm not going to try and convince you that doing all this will get you tons of sales. What I can tell you is that there will always be growth and outcomes that make it worthwhile. If you follow my process, you will be making revenue that should cover your investment in holding the event before the event even happens. There is a way to monetize to make sure that you're not out money. Now, part of this, I think, is getting really clear. What do you want out of it? There's so many different reasons to have a summit. There's so many different reasons to initiate this that you probably need to get really clear. What do you want out of it? And so that's your first action. Even if you're not convinced yet that this is for you, I want you to ask yourself a question. How do you want to be known in your industry? Now, maybe you want to be known for a specific outcome. Maybe you want to be known as the person who's a great speaker. Maybe you want to be known as a leader. You want to be known as the person who is the go-to for the work you do, but also is the connector. You're the hub of the center of influence in your community. Whatever it is that you want to be known for, make that clear as part of why you do a summit, and then decide, if I'm going to do a summit, what do I need out of it? What is the minimal viable outcome that would make saying yes to this a no-brainer? And I think these are two pieces that people skip when they're disappointed with results for anything they pursue as a strategy. What do you want to be known for, and what is the minimum viable outcome that would make saying yes to this a no-brainer? Okay, do you want to get known as that kind of leader? Do you want to build this energy of reciprocity with other speakers and start the exchange of visibility and co-creating collaborations that pay off for years to come? Do you want to build your list? So at a minimum, if all you did was build your list and get, 300, 500, 1,000 new people on your list, what would that be worth to you? Let me tell you, people are spending a lot of money on Facebook ads to build their list. And this is a targeted, aligned list that you're building. One of the things that happened from my last event, which was Visibility Velocity, the summit that I held in the spring of 2025, was I have had people who I didn't know before that were attracted to the program, that came in. Some of them I never heard one breath from them. I didn't hear one word, not one engagement, nothing. And here it is 6 months later, and they're still buying things. They're still making investments. They're still evaluating and booking consults for the next round of Authority Accelerator. So one of the things to keep in mind is you're building your list, but when you do this well and you've aligned with people who share your audience of ideal clients, they may not buy in that time period, but they, if you've done a good job with this, will be buying over time when the timing's right, because you're still nurturing the relationship with them. And it may not have been the right timing then, but there's something about the work that you're doing that keeps them engaged. Once you've decided what you want to be known for and you've evaluated and really made the decision, what is the minimum viable outcome that makes this a no-brainer, and you're a yes, then here's 4 key things to do. Pick a date. Just pick a date when you're going to have the event. If you don't do that, I guarantee you nothing will move. It will always be something you'll do someday. So pick a date, choose a theme. Now there's a little bit of strategy to picking the right theme, because you want to pick a theme that's going to tie back to what you're offering, what you want to be known for. You want it to be something that creates desire for everything else. So that is super important. A lot of people mess this step up. Certainly I did in the past. Got too clever or didn't really think through how does this tie into anything else. So you want to choose the right theme. And by the way, for those of you that did get the Fast Track Summit system, this is the first thing I'm coaching you through in the process, is how to pick a strategically aligned theme that basically starts building momentum around all of the outcomes you desire. And then the third step is you want to explore the win-win speakers. Okay, you want them to complement versus compete. And there is a very specific process I use to evaluate and invite speakers and to move those speakers forward into working together so that it stays in that win-win alignment. So everybody's winning, everybody's getting really great stuff, and you personally are not trying to pull them uphill. You're actually co-creating as you go. And then last, you need to develop your system to design, implement, and hold the event. And I, again, highly encourage you to line up a support team, whatever that looks like for you. If you've already got a team, get them on board, make sure they know what the strategy is, get a project management system in place. Again, that's one of the things that I give you in the Summit system, because I don't know if you know this, but I actually was trained and certified in project management. It's not my favorite thing to do, but my brain can't stop working in that mode. So, but you want to make sure you have all of the things lined up. You have the right tech, the right support, and the right system, so this feels as easy as possible. And by the way, when you get all that stuff in place, that old script in your mind, if this feels like a lot of work, the work you're doing should be exciting and expansive and joy producing, because you're creating something. When you have the system and the tech and all of that figured out, because you've got a tool in place to do it, the work you are doing is fun. And that's what happened for me when I got the system in place. Is it started being fun because I got to co-create. I had all these amazing conversations with extraordinary leaders in our space, and we're creating synergy and all this stuff that just lights me up, and it's like sparks all of the good things in me. And then you're creating something that's really contagious and exciting for the people that are there as participants. So this is where I'm going to leave you in the series. I've given you 5 really, really valuable authority shortcuts, different strategies for different people. Now, I do all of them. I find that doing all of them is a way to really experience growth at rapid speed. But if you're not, I mean, I'm 25 years in, so I'm at a spot where I can keep multiple balls in the air. But if you're just looking for the one thing, pick the one thing that really feels energetically aligned with where you're going next. What feels like it's exciting? It might be a little scary, but it's exciting. Follow the process, get a tool, get a coach, whatever you need to get out of your head and into action, but get something going. And if the summit is the strategy for you, great. It is a great place to start. You're going to build quickly, you're going to create momentum, and you're going to be able to collaborate with some amazing people. And if you want the Fast Track Summit system, I will drop the link here in the show notes for you. That has all the plug and play templates, all of the systems, all of the tools, and step-by-step training from me of how to figure out how to make this aligned for you. Okay, so I'm very excited. And if you do feel inspired to create an epic summit that is creating a movement that is informing and educating and inspiring your community and positioning you as a valuable, unignorable expert in your field, tell me about it. I can't wait to hear.